Joe Biden gives Governor Greg Abbott of Texas an ultimatum as the border standoff intensifies, Michael Snyder reports. Are we headed for a major constitutional crisis? Texas Governor Greg Abbott is not backing down, and a whole bunch of other red states have publicly announced that they support what he's doing. In response, the Biden administration has reportedly issued a 24-hour ultimatum and is warning that Texas will face the consequences, quote unquote, if the Texas National Guard does not stand down. I honestly do not remember the last time we witnessed a conflict of this magnitude between the federal government and a state government. Of course, none of this is going to be good for Biden's chances of winning in November because there will be a constant focus on the border until this standoff is resolved. Following the Supreme Court's stunning decision in favor of the Biden administration, Texas Governor Greg Abbott invoked the right to self-defense in Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 of the U.S. Constitution. After the Supreme Court vacated an injunction against the Biden administration cutting razor wire along the U.S.-Mexico border installed by the state of Texas, Governor Greg Abbott has declared an invasion and invoked the right to self-defense. The failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, Section 4, has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which reserves to this state the right of self-defense, Abbott said. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. It would have probably been smart for Joe Biden to just let this go, but that was not going to happen. The Biden administration appears to be determined to keep the borders wide open, and the reporter Simon Ateba is telling us that Biden has given Abbott until tomorrow to allow federal agents to cut swaths of razor wire installed at the southern border. Breaking, President Biden gives Governor Abbott of Texas until tomorrow to allow federal agents to cut swaths of razor wire installed at the southern border by the state or face the consequences, whatever that means. Note, Biden can federalize Texas National Guard, leaving Abbott with no power to resist federal might. Note, Biden as president has the authority to federalize National Guards, bringing them under control of the federal government. However, this is typically done in specific circumstances and with legal justifications, such as responding to a national emergency or protecting federal interests. If Abbott does not comply, what will Biden do? Will he invade Texas? Of course not. But Biden could attempt to federalize the Texas National Guard. So what would happen if some or all of those troops refuse to follow Biden's orders? This whole situation could potentially get really crazy. Needless to say, Donald Trump is going to have something to say about all of this. He's calling for all, quote, willing states to deploy their National Guard to Texas, end quote, in order to help protect the border. Ultimately, this is not just a showdown between Joe Biden and Texas. Reporter Bill Melugin has posted a long list of red states that have publicly announced that they are standing with the Lone Star State of Texas, of course. Updated list of states announcing that they stand with Texas in border dispute with federal government: Florida, Virginia, Georgia, North Dakota, South Dakota, Tennessee, Alabama, Montana, Idaho, Utah, West Virginia, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Louisiana. Several of these states have also previously sent physical help, state troopers, etc. Since he posted that list, Arkansas, Iowa, Mississippi, and Wyoming have also come on board. And it is now being reported that 25 Republican governors just signed a joint letter in support of Texas. Conservatives all over the nation have had enough. Millions of people have been pouring over our wide open borders, and this has created a crisis of epic proportions. And what most Americans don't realize is that NGOs that are funded with your tax dollars are helping migrants travel to our southern border, and once they are processed at the border, billions of your tax dollars are being used to resettle them in communities all across America. A U.S. federal government agency spent $20 billion in 2022 and 2023 on refugee settlements as the number of migrants entering the country reaches record levels. The nonprofit Open the Books released a report that found the U.S. Agency Office of Refugee Resettlement spent the money as the number of migrant encounters at the border reached 2.5 million in 2023. The Office of Refugee Resettlement spent $8.9 billion in fiscal year 2022 and $10.9 billion in fiscal year 2023, according to Open the Books report. I don't even have the words to describe how massive this crisis is, and our own money is being used to fund it. And once they arrive in communities all over the nation, the new arrivals are overwhelming systems that we all depend upon. For example, Denver Health has been losing millions upon millions of dollars because so many migrants are using health services that they cannot pay for. Denver Health CEO Donna Lynn warned the center is in a crucial moment due to unexpected costs associated with immigrant visits. What I think is not being said is that Denver Health is at a critical point and that we need to take this up in 2024, Lynn told the Denver City Council, according to the Denver Post. 8,000 migrants from Central America accounted for approximately 20,000 visits in 2023. Denver Health asked the Federal Emergency Management Agency to provide funds for immigrants' medical costs. The state and federal governments are not reimbursing the hospital, which spent $136 million for patients who didn't pay. There are hundreds of millions of people all over the globe that would love to relocate here, but we simply do not have the resources to support them all. Those that wish to live in the United States are supposed to go through the legal systems of immigration. That is how it's supposed to work. But instead, the Biden administration has left the back door completely wide open, and now millions of people are pouring into this country each year. The stage is being set for unprecedented chaos in our major cities, and our federal government will not be able to control it. This is by Michael Snyder, and he says, about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled Chaos is now available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so that you won't miss any of my articles. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely ask and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.